There's a company called Unicoin, which is a company, I guess, related to a meme coin which is also called Unicoin. I think it's supposed to be a portmanteau of like unicorn and coin, basically.
More like an egg corn.
Egg corn.
An egg corn, or like a mondegreen, when a word kind of sounds similar to another word.
Yeah, I guess.
Like how eggcorn sounds similar to acorn.
You would have to look at the etymology of why they named it that, I guess.
Right.
Was it because they were trying to combine two words?
Suggests, right, that they were trying to combine two words and...
Yeah, or were they just trying to say, we have this one word and we want it to sound similar? So we'll never know, I guess. We don't know the intents of the people who came up with it. Anyway.
Fantastic.
When, as a company, public company, you're supposed to file forms with the SEC, which I don't remember what that stands for.
Securities Exchange Commission? Yeah,
that sounds right. And one of the things you do is you're supposed to list all the risks of your company, so that if you don't do it, then your shareholders can sue you for saying you didn't tell us, that we were defrauded because we were unaware that you did these bad things, but they weren't in your SEC filing, and so we bought your stock, and it turns out that you did do those bad things, and now we got scammed, so we're suing you. So the idea is you have to report in your filing, here are all the bad things we do, so to prevent those sort of lawsuits. And I think one of them, an interesting one from a while ago, was, I think it was Walmart, who they said, like, one of the risks they listed, just to give a flavor of like a normal risk, because we're going to look at a weird one in a moment. But although this one's a little bit weird, also the Walmart one, is that they said occasionally they run promotional campaigns, but it's impossible to predict how the public will react to those campaigns, and it's possible that those campaigns may screw up and upset customers, which would lower our profits and thus lower the stock price, right? Like that's an example risk that they might list. And the reason it's weird is because I think it was Republicans, I'm not sure, but they sued Walmart for doing like gay pride promotion advertising, because they said, like, because obviously everybody hates gay pride, and by doing that, your people are going to boycott your stuff, and then you're going to lose money. And Walmart's argument was, no, we listed in our filing that this is a possible risk, right? Some people might not like the marketing we do, but they still have to go to court over it anyway, and then blah blah blah. Anyway, so this one, Unicoin, their executives, here, let me just read it, or I'll bring it over here to read out together, because I don't think I can summarize it better than the way it's written here. Unicoin's executives talk like stereotypical crypto promoters, making exaggerated claims about the value of their tokens, how it revolutionized finance, how many people had bought it. Fine, normal. But then Unicoin was also, for no real reason, publicly filing very sober and normal SEC reports with audited financial statements that deflated all those claims. On that side of things, Unicoin was such a normal, well-managed company that its 10K included a risk factor about how sometimes it says untrue things about its tokens. And then this is an excerpt of their filing. Certain communications and marketing materials have incorrectly stated the regulatory status of Unicoin, which could cause market confusion and expose the company enforcement actions by the regulatory authorities, such as the Securities and Exchange Commissions, if such statements are deemed to be materially misleading, and so on. I won't read the rest. But like, what I find baffling and interesting about this is that they in their SEC filing, they say, we lied.
By the way,
that might get us in trouble with the SEC. Like, like, what a crazy thing to put into your filing. Like, what?
Yeah. It's because nobody reads these. It's probably because they had ChatGPT like come up with it, and ChatGPT was like, I don't know if you guys know, but luckily no one reads it.
What this made me think about when I read this, I'm like, this is obviously securities fraud, right? Not because Unicoin lied. No, not that part.
Right.
See, the shareholders knew that Unicoin lied.
Right.
What they didn't know is that
Written in their
Unicoin
filing.
was going to admit to lying with the SEC, which would get them in trouble, which would lower their stock price, and so we were deceived. We bought your stock thinking that you wouldn't admit that you were lying, but you did admit you were lying. Like, so Unicoin should have disclosed that they would disclose that they were lying, right?
Did they perhaps disclose we are unusually honest in our filings to the Securities Exchange and Exchange Commission?
Yeah, let us know next time before you're going to admit to the SEC that you're going to lie, that you're going to admit to lying before you go buy your stock.
Right. I just feel like it should come up in a background check.
I'm glad you like that one because you were laughing a little bit about that one.
It's funny. I appreciate irony as much as the next reader.
It's tough sometimes for me to predict what the things that I find amusing I send to you, and some of them you find amusing, some of them you don't, and I haven't cracked the pattern yet,
Some of them are funny and some of them aren't.
Yeah, it's tough for me to figure out.
Yeah. Just send me the funny ones.